Okay, and that does signify the beginning of our workshop today. I first want to welcome everybody to our workshop here, our monthly workshop, brought to you by the Florida Outreach Center for the Blind. My name is Jason Goldfield, and I am your Zoom host and your main presenter for today. So, we have a great turnout here today, and we appreciate everybody coming out, joining us here today as we speak. We have more people joining us, which is great. So, very much a great, huge welcome to everybody, and a very happy new year to everybody as well. I wanted to throw that in before I forgot. So, we are here today. I was trying to come up with a clever title for today's topic. So, we all know that we are here to talk about and hear about some of the latest new innovations and features of AI, artificial intelligence. So, since AI is always adding new features, I was thinking of a title and I came up with What's New with AI in the New Year? So AI or Apple, I'm sorry, Apple or AI or artificial intelligence, I have my iPhone on my mind here for a bit, is the newest and latest innovation in accessibility and technology. And it pretty much surrounds us nowadays in so many different formats, both through software and hardware and all the devices that we use. So we all, by being on this meeting, are accessing Zoom either through a phone or through a tablet or a computer or other formats. And we're all using AI as we speak because it's being integrated into so many different pieces of software and hardware technology that we use on an everyday basis. And this is really what the future is, folks, is AI technology. So what I was hoping to do today was talk about some of the newest features of AI. Now, AI itself can cover a very large and broad subject, and we could very easily go into a 2 to 3 hour plus discussion and demonstration of what's available and what's out there. Some of the things we will be covering today that you might be already aware of. And if you are, that is great. And depending on time, we may open up the floor for, because I want to hear maybe from a few of the participants here on our workshop and how you're using AI in your everyday life. So, with that being said, we'll have to see how we are doing on time. I do want to go over a couple house rules just really quick before we jump into things. Is as you notice that you all are muted, and we ask that you please stay muted during the duration of the meeting. We will definitely have time for questions and comments and all that good stuff as we go along through our presentation. But we do ask that you please stay muted during our presentation time until we get to the time of the Q&A and comments and whatnot, as a courtesy to the presenter, which is myself today, and as well as your fellow Zoom listeners. So we'll go over all the different methods on how we raise our hand, because that's how we're going to handle our questions and comments as when we get to that point, and we'll cover that as well. We'll also talk about at the end of the meeting how you can get a copy of today's recording since this workshop is being recorded. So, and we have a lot of new folks that are joining us as we speak. That's great. We're glad to have everybody here. So let's just jump into things. Why won't we? So I myself am very much an iPhone user and into the Apple ecosystem. So I use my iPhone for a lot of different apps and services that use AI. I also am by on this uh, workshop using my Windows laptop, so I use AI on there as well. So if we cover anything that you already use or already familiar with, we are so glad that you are. And but for the benefit of those who aren't as familiar, we like to try and cover just some of these. Now, we're only going to be able to cover these apps and these services in very brief nature, folks. Very brief, because if we were to take our time and go through all these in great detail, as I said, we'd be here for 2, 3, 4 hours, and we just don't have that luxury today. So we're just going to run through some of these really briefly, and we'll have time for questions, comments, and all that as we go along. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to get into feature that I use quite a bit, especially on my phone. Now, I do want to preface this by saying that I don't have any special fancy equipment here as far as sound and sound quality and special microphones. So if things don't sound quite as well as they should, I apologize in advance. We'll just try and make it work as best we can. So that's all we can do. Right? Right. All right. So as I mentioned, I'm a strong iPhone user, and that's not to dismiss any of our Android users out there, because I am very much aware that there are great apps available. Some of these same apps I'm going to cover briefly here in the next minute or two are not only just available on the iPhone, but they're also available on Android. So what we talk about the iPhone most likely is available for Android users as well. So the first thing I want to talk about, and I just want to go through these kind of briefly, as I mentioned, is I have found a great innovation with AI as far as picture taking. So there are several apps out there, and I'll be demonstrating these on my iPhone, just very briefly. But that's not to not to skip on any of the other apps. I just want to give you an idea of how these apps work and give you an idea. And it's definitely up to you to dive deeper into what is available out there and how to use it in great detail. So, one of the most popular apps that I'm sure a lot of people out there have heard of is Be My Eyes. So, the Be My Eyes app has been around for a number of years, and it's a great, excellent service. And if anybody is not currently Be My Eyes user, I definitely invite you to download the app from the App Store on iPhone or Play Store on Android and sign up and use the service. It's free, free, free. There's no charge, and it's a extremely valuable service, believe me. So, of course, most people know that who are Be My Eye users that one of the features is you are able to actually connect to a live volunteer and ask for sighted assistance. But that's not what we're here to cover today. The feature I want to talk to you about today with Be My Eyes is the feature of taking pictures. So that is the first app we're going to demonstrate. And if you are a Be My Eyes user, or if you're not, if you're a Be My Eyes user, you might be familiar with this. Under Be My Eyes, there's a feature called Be My AI. So, and that is where you can take an existing photo and have it described to you in great detail and ask follow-up questions in great detail. So, or you can go through your existing photos that are on your phone or tablet and share that photo with Be My Eyes and have it described to you in detail as well. So bear with me for 1 minute while I get into the app and I'll raise my volume and hopefully you will be able to hear it as best you can. So give me 1 second. Open Be My Eyes. Starting camera. Okay, so I'm going to slow down my speech a little bit because I realize it may be a little fast for some of the folks out there. So I like to be aware of that. So give me 1 second. 65%, 60%, 55, 50%, 45%. All right. Okay. Containers. All right, so I'm going to turn up my volume on my phone. Analyzing pic. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. Oh. Clear button. Okay. All right, here we go. The image show clear button. Clear. All right. Return to Surrey. Okay. So I am in the Be My Eyes app under the Be My AI section, and I am ready to take a picture. So the way this basically works is you aim the camera at whatever you want and you snap the take picture button, which is located down at the bottom. However, some time ago, they introduced a wonderful shortcut where you can press the volume down button on your phone and that will actually take the picture as well. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to take a picture of my computer screen as best I can. And it will hopefully describe not only the picture, describe the computer screen, it will also describe possibly what's around it if it captures enough. So here we go. I'm just going to hit the volume down button and we'll see what it gives us. Analyzing picture. Please wait. The image shows a laptop screen displaying a Zoom meeting interface. On the screen, there are names visible, Manus Pacius and David Chifatz. There is a large green icon with a phone symbol, indicating a call function. The text Florida Outreach Center F, ellipsis, is partially visible, along with a calendar on the left side showing January 2025. The laptop is an HP brand, and there is a faint reflection of a person wearing a striped shirt on the screen. The background is a plain white colored wall. Actions available. Okay, so you heard that just as plainly as I did. Hopefully that came through. Manus, did that come through pretty good? Were you able to hear that, Manus? Manus is our co-host as well.
Yes, it was very clear.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. All right. All right. So yeah, I wanted to make sure that that came through pretty good as best we could. So you obviously heard quite a bit of information, and alone that would be absolutely just phenomenal as far as what we got. Because before then, if we would ask somebody who's sighted, say, well, what's on the computer screen? They'll say, well, it looks like Zoom, I guess, and there's some names and it has pictures and stuff. I mean, we would just get like a general description. Nobody would sit down to describe to us and tell us what exactly is on the screen and all the detail. So normally we would be happy with such questions, such responses like that, but we like to push the elements as far as what we have available to us. So what we're able to do is ask follow-up questions. And this app, along with so many others, can actually do similar types of actions as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask a follow-up question, and it puts it in a format like you're texting somebody back and forth. And I'm going to, let's see.
Take picture. Ask more button.
So there's an ask more button. I'm going to double tap on that. I'm using VoiceOver.
Message. Text message. Text field. Use editing.
All
Character
right.
mode. Insertion point at start.
All right. So I am in a text field where I can type, but my use of the on-screen keyboard is, well, it takes a while to type as well as I'm sure most of you all know. And I don't have a Bluetooth keyboard hooked up to this currently. So I'm going to use the dictate feature. And I'm going to ask a follow-up question. I want to see if it can tell me how many participants we have on our workshop right now. And let's just kind of see what it can do with that information. How many participants do we have on the list?
Inserted. How many participants do we have on the list?
Okay, so it repeats back. VoiceOver is reading back to me what I wrote just to make sure, because dictate, I always tell people use it at your own risk. Hopefully, it gets what you say correct most of the time, but occasionally it comes back with some really weird responses and really weird words. So I'm going to go ahead and swipe right with VoiceOver.
Clear text. Send message button.
And I'm going to send the message.
Send. Please wait. Be My AI is writing a message. Be My AI. The Zoom interface on the laptop screen shows a total of 5 participants.
Okay, well, it's only showing that we have 5 participants. I believe we have a lot more. And that is something that I do want to bring up. So AI is, as I mentioned, it's growing. It's changing, it's growing, and it doesn't always get everything correct. Um, I would hope and think that we have more than 5. In fact, I know we have more than 5 because of the participant count. So, but it only was able to maybe see 5 or got its information wrong. So
Thank you for your help.
that's another thing that I
See you
want to
next
say.
time.
Whenever you're using any of these AI apps to take pictures and you're asking about details, a lot of the apps actually tell you AI is occasionally wrong and always verify your information. So they always say that AI sometimes hallucinates, and especially apps that are still growing and still being developed, this is definitely the case. And I could share many stories, which I won't go in. I'm not going to go into detail about just because of time, but I'm sure we have all experienced where AI apps will start to describe something and it won't always get everything correct. So,
Jason, it's read on.
okay, thank you. If you can mute, please. All right. All right. So we could go ahead and we'll ask one more question to Be My Eyes, actually, and get away from a participant count. I want to get more of an idea of what does the screen look like. So we're going to go ahead and swipe right.
Tap Q. Send message. Text field. Insertion point.
All right. So I'm going to ask it to just give me a detailed description of the screen because initially that's what it started to do. And we'll get more details about the screen. Give me details about the screen.
Inserted. Give me details about the screen.
All right, I'm going to swipe right.
Clear text. Send message. Send. Please wait. Be My AI is writing a message. Be My AI is still writing a message. Be My AI. The laptop screen displays a Zoom meeting interface. At the top, there are 2 tabs labeled Zoom Workplace. In the center, there is a large green icon with a phone symbol, indicating a call function. Below this icon, there is a list of participants, including the names Manas Pacius and David Chifatz. The text Florida Outreach Center F, ellipsis, is partially visible, suggesting a participant or meeting name. On the left side of the screen, there is a calendar visible, showing the month of January 2025. At the bottom of the screen, there are various Zoom controls, including icons for audio, video, participants, chat, share, and others. The participant count shows 5 participants in the meeting. The laptop is an HP brand, and there is a faint reflection of a person wearing a striped shirt on the screen.
Okay, so you guys heard that, hopefully pretty clear, and it really got into detail. We could break this photo down even more, but we're not going to. I just wanted to give you guys an idea. Now, Be My Eyes, while it's a great app in all its functionality, whether you use this function, use the volunteer, you use any of the other functions of the app, it's extremely valuable, but it's not the only one in town. So another app that's very popular out there, I'm not going to really take time to describe it because it will sort of be redundant in a way, and with a slightly different interface, is the Ira app. And within Ira, most people know what Ira is. They're aware of the features and the services that Ira, which is AIRA, offers. However, some time ago, back in July, I believe it was, they introduced their new Ira Access feature, which, since Ira normally is a paid service, for those who weren't aware, they have made Ira Access section of the app totally free for all users. And that's one of the great features. What's really nice about that is when you take a picture with that or have one of your existing photos described with that feature, you can tell it to give you just a general description, give it more detailed description. And I believe, I haven't looked at it in quite a while, but I believe you can upload a batch of photos. So a bunch of photos at once if you're using existing photos from your phone. So the steps on how you share photos with your phone are going to vary from iPhone to Android. I really won't get into the specific steps. You'll have to look up those steps per your type of device that you all are using. So there's another app that I do want to show you just really quick, and it starts getting a little redundant, but it's an app that's not quite well as known. There's two more really quick, and then we're going to change to a different type of AI technology. One is called Speakaboo. So Speakaboo is a similar app, but instead of it being read to you with synthesized speech, it uses more of a human sounding voice. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Speakaboo. Open Speakaboo.
Keep my eye. Speakable. Double tap for quick info or tap and hold to ask. Button.
Okay, so Speakaboo is a free app. However, they do have a small premium section. I believe it's $4.99 a month, and you do get additional features, additional voices. Now, the voices you're going to hear through these different apps are voices that I have been using already. However, you can definitely download these apps and play with the different voices. They're all different types of personality. So if I aim the camera at something and I just double tap, it's going to just give me a general description of the picture, like what we experienced with Be My Eyes. However, if I double tap and hold while taking the picture, it's going to focus in on a specific question about the picture. So for Be My Eyes, first we got an overall general description of the picture, then we ask for follow-up. Here, we can ask our detailed description first. So we'll just demonstrate this quickly. I'm going to aim the camera at the computer screen here and just double tap on the screen. Actually, you can just double tap anywhere in about the middle of the screen, and we should get a good answer.
I see a laptop screen, a fan, a keyboard, and some tools.
Okay. So it gave a general description of what saw. So it just kind of, I had my camera a little offset there, and it just basically just gave a general description. So if I do another description, but I double tap and hold on the,
PC.
actually, if I double tap and hold on the screen, I can ask a specific question about what I'm aiming at. So I'm going to do that now. Describe to me what I'm looking at.
It seems like the camera is currently pointing at your arm.
Oh, says the camera's pointing at my arm. Well, that's very possible. We're going to give that one more shot because I might have gotten that a little off. Sorry about that. I make a horrible photographer if you can't tell. Let's try this one more time here. Let's see. Give me a detailed description of what I'm looking at.
The image shows a laptop with a Zoom meeting on the screen. Did you know there's a keyboard visible on the right side of the laptop?
Ah, okay. So it gave you a little bit of a different perspective of what was available. Didn't go into this big long description, but it still told me. And then it said, did you know there was a keyboard visible in the picture? So it kind of like suggested like, hey, by the way, this is what you're looking at. And then also I see this, but it didn't describe to you what that keyboard was. If I wanted to, I could ask it more about the keyboard, but I won't. I just wanted to give you an idea. Now that voice can be adjusted. The speech rate is, sorry if that was a little too fast for you, for some folks. But that's the speed I currently have it at. I tried to test most of this stuff before we did this workshop, and I tried to have everything kind of set up in a general way. There's one other app that I want to talk about and show very briefly that's available. And this is an app that's a little bit different. And it's called PixieBot or PickyBot, actually. PickyBot. VoiceOver, at least. I don't know how our TalkBack users on Android would read it, but it would say PixieBot. So, but it's really pronounced PickyBot. One great feature about this app is not only does it describe pictures, but it also, if you have it on your phone or if you take one, it will describe a video for you as well. So that's a really cool feature. And I think that if other companies that develop these type of apps could really harness that type of AI technology, you're going to start seeing that more and more available on other apps that you currently use. So we'll open up PickyBot. Open PickyBot.
Disable subscription button.
Okay.
Camera button.
Now, this again is a free app, and there is a subscription for it. I currently do not have the subscription, and I don't offhand know how much they charge, but so it is free to download, free to try, and if you like the features, you'll get additional features by joining their subscriptions. I apologize for not having the subscription information. But we're going to take a picture of the screen again with PixieBot, and we're going to see how they handle pictures. So again, I'm going to try my best to take a picture of my computer screen.
Messages.
Sorry about that. All right.
PixieBot heading. Query PixieBot with your question. Text field.
So here
Double
on
tap to edit.
the screen, we can type in a specific question.
Welcome to PixieBot add. Nextbook vertical lined install. Dimmed. Video gal camera button.
Okay, so since I'm using the free version of PixieBot, there is an ad on the screen. So I apologize. That's one of the ways I guess they get around it. They put up advertisements. Someone's got to pay for it. Unless you have the subscription, which I assume gives you ad free. So there's
Photo camera button.
So there's camera,
Photo gallery button.
photo gallery, and that's if you want to go through existing photos.
Photo gallery button.
And there's also the option for the video, but we'll just do the regular camera.
Camera button.
And we're going to take a picture.
Camera. Capture photo button.
Okay, there's capture photo.
Cancel button. Switch to front camera. Switch to capture photo button.
Okay, we'll do that.
Capture photo. Subscription button.
And it's
Double
going to
tap to open subscription.
get a description. Come back in a minute.
Image is like totally blurred, with absolutely no discernible objects or like figures. It's this smooth blend of colors, right? Transitioning from a lighter grayish white at the top to a darker kind of brownish gray towards the bottom. There's no textures or patterns, just this really soft, hazy vibe. It's impossible to tell if the scene is indoors or outdoors, and there's no sign of any like activity or movement. The overall mood is one of quiet stillness and like slightly muted neutral vibe. There's nothing jarring or thrilling about it. It's simply a gentle wash of color. There are no intricate details or distinctive features to describe, due to the extreme blur.
All right. So it did not do very well with describing our picture of our computer screen. And that could be either that I was holding my camera too close, which is quite a possibility, or on the wrong angle, or it just couldn't discern it. However, you got to hear a different perspective. And that is one of those apps that uses more of a human sounding voice rather than a voiceover or synthesized type of speech voice as well. And what's great about this app is you can adjust the type of voice. So, like, it gave a lot of like its own little commentary. That I believe can all be adjusted. You can have the type of voice, you can have more of just straight facts instead of all the little commentary, and it looks blurred and well, there's no discernible this and all that. So you can really just kind of define how short or how long of an answer you want. Some people don't want to hear all that nonsense. But that pretty much sums up what I was going to talk about as far as picture taking apps. And what I want to do before we move on is, and if people are using any of these apps, I want to hear from you guys at this time. So what we're going to do is we're going to stop with the presentation and go to you guys right now. And I want to hear if you guys have any comments, questions, or if you've used this app or any of the other picture taking bots or bot apps, either on your phone or tablet, and how you're using, because everybody uses it a little bit different. So what we'll do is we'll go to raised hands. I want to go over how we raise hands really quick for the benefit of the people that already know. That is great. You use the appropriate method of how you dialed in, either on your computer, tablet, smartphone, or to dial up. or one touch dial method. But for the ones that aren't as familiar, I just want to run through these briefly. If you're on a Windows PC, it's going to be Alt Y. Will raise your hand, and when your name is called, you'll do Alt A to unmute. It's Alt Y to raise your hand, Alt A to unmute. If you are on a tablet, it's going to be, I believe, under reactions on the bottom of the screen if you're using the Zoom app. And there's a raise your hand, and then on the main screen, there will be a unmute when your name is called. If you are dialing in through your one touch dial method or dial manually, if you're a telephone user, basically, you do star nine, star nine to raise your hand, and star six to unmute. And if you're a Mac user, it's going to be Alt Option Y to raise your hand and Command Shift A to unmute once your name is called. Submanis is our co-host, and he'll be helping me manage the board here.
Not a problem. Thank you,
All
Jason.
right,
And
thank
first
you,
we have
Manis.
David.
Okay, David, you can unmute.
David G.
David
Hey
G.
guys, can you hear me okay?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can.
Excellent. Jason, this is great. And I don't know if I'm jumping ahead of your agenda, but my question was if you were going to talk about some of the apps where you can actually speak to it and have it immediately respond. And I was thinking of apps like Ally. I'm in a position to demo it if you wanted, but if you were already going to do that, that's fine. But those are some of the apps that really intrigue me that I use for a variety of reasons. But again, I don't want to jump ahead if that was next on the agenda.
Actually, it was. So I
Okay,
was going
sorry.
to sort of do a combination of between the phone and on the computer as well with that as well.
No worries. Okay, thanks a lot. But the apps that you demoed are great. I've often used those. One of the ways that I use them, as well as the one that you're going to demonstrate, is for object identification and to get more information about a package. So if I have a grocery order, um, sometimes I'll have ordered something and I'll forget what it was, and I'll pull out a box or a bag of something and I'll be like, okay, what is this? And I'll ask it to identify the item and also to ask follow-up questions about it. Um, One of the things that I did as an experiment was I scanned a Chinese restaurant menu. I think it might have been with Seeing AI. And then I asked it, what are some of the low carb items on this menu? And that's one really nice thing about some of the apps that you demonstrated is that you can ask follow-up questions and you can ask it questions like, well, tell me more about this item, or what are some of the low carb items on the menu? Because previously we would have had to go through those and sort of fish for that information ourselves, and it would have taken a while. And with the AI app, you can just ask it to find that for you, and it'll do it. So that's one of the ways that I use these apps. But I'm going to mute and listen to other people's questions and then hear your uh, demo of Ally.
All right, great. Thanks so much, David.
All right, thank you, David. Next we have Kim S.
Ken, you
Hi.
can go ahead. Hi.
Hi, my name is Kim. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
you
we
can.
can.
Excellent, thank you. Two quick things. Can you please spell out the names of the apps? Because I did download the Speakaboo for later investigation, but I did not know how to spell the Pixie app that you mentioned,
Oh
or
boy, that's a
Picky.
good question. Yeah.
Messages. Now.
Oh, sorry. Let's see.
Ring. Now.
Sorry.
Ring.
The only thing about using your phone to demonstrate stuff is I get my notifications. Sorry about that, guys. And that's a
I can
great
help with that
question.
if you'd like.
Yeah, if you could, because
Thank
I
you.
don't have the spelling of these offhand, and I do want to get her question answered.
It's no problem. I just looked it up. It's P as in Paul, Picybot.
Okay, great. And one last thing. Thank you so much for that. One last thing. Unrelated, but I want to get on your mailing list. I did put it in the chat directly to the host. Um, but if you were going to cover that at the end, I already
Yeah,
jumped the gun. Yeah.
yes, I was. Yes, I
Okay.
was.
Is it
Yep.
okay to just leave it in the chat that it's in that I directed it to you, or do you want me to do it to the co-host or?
Actually, we'll talk about that at the end. That's fine.
Okay.
If you want to leave it in the chat, that's okay
Okay.
as well. But we'll mention that towards the end. So we'll talk about our mailing list and our website and all that good stuff towards the end, if you don't mind.
Not a problem. Thank you so much.
I
I'll mute
appreciate
now.
it.
You're
Thank you. I
welcome.
appreciate it. Yep.
Not
Thank
a
you.
problem. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, Kim. Okay, Jason, you may continue. I do not have any other raised hands.
All right. And thanks, David, for helping with with the name of the PixieBot app. So PickyBot app.
Messages.
All right.
Now.
Good grief. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and change gears a little bit. So David mentioned he brought up an app that is a fairly new app. In fact, it's so new that it's actually still in testing. Some people are able to use him, I believe, if you have the Envision glasses. However, there is and it's called Ally, Ally, I believe is the spelling. So, and this is a free app for right now. In order to get this app on at least iOS, and I do apologize for our Android users, I am not aware of how to get it. That's not to say it is not available, but if you were to go to the App Store or the Google Play Store, you would not find this app directly. So I know in order for our iPhone users, you have to have a link sent to you. If you go to the Envision website, um, I believe there is a section that talks about this and how you can obtain a test copy of it on through iOS and Android. So basically, and in order, and at least on iOS, you have to download the Test Flight app and have that installed previously before you can download the Ally app. So basically, what it is, this is a great app. And the best way for me to compare this type of app is if anybody, and a lot of people have them out there, if you have and I'm not going to say her name because I don't want everybody's to go off. If you have a Lady A, if you have a Lady A or a Google Home or Google Nest product, this is kind of similar in the way that you just talk to it. There's a little bit of a setup, especially a one-time setup for right now. And once it's fully set up, you are able to talk to it, have it look at things, have it tell you things, and have a full integrated and inclusive conversation. So I do have it on my phone as test software, so that it's not available for prime time yet, but it will give you an idea of how it works. I'm going to open that up. Open Ally.
From the developer. Ally. Personal AI Assistant version 0 expires in 80 to test. Additive next button. Start testing button. Talk to Leah button.
Okay, so
Voice chat.
I had to get through this little welcome screen first. So, like a lot of these apps, okay, they have different voices and they all have different personalities. So I'm going to bring up the bot that I've been testing it with. Her name is Leah. So Leah is kind of playful, kind of cheerful, and even a little flirty. So, but there's definitely different voices out there that match different personalities. So we're going to go ahead and bring up Leah.
Talk to Leah button. Conversation. Talk. Hey there. Close text chat.
Let me turn on my. Hi, how are you today? Hang on for 1 second.
More options. End conversation.
Hello, how are you today? Hang on for 1 second. Leah, are you there? Well, this is why it's also beta testing software and not available for prime time.
End conversation. More option. Tap to mute button.
Okay, I'm not muted.
Tap more on end
You
conversation.
know what I'm going to do? I'm going to end that conversation.
Preferences button.
I'm going to end that conversation and try and go back in and start it one more time.
Talk to Leah button. Conversation.
Hey there. How's your day going so far?
Oh, there we go. That's better. How are you? How are you today? Leah, can you hear me? It's almost like she doesn't hear me. And I
Jason,
tested this beforehand and it did work.
More options.
this is
Tap to
David. Do you
mute
want me to
button.
try a demo of it on my end to see if I can get it to respond?
Tap to mute.
Let's see.
Tap to unmute.
Okay, wait a second.
Tap to mute.
All right, let's try this. Are you there? Yeah, it seems that I'm unmuted. Let me share my screen with you, David. I'll give you access to share screen. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that, guys. This is technology at its best. I guess this is also why it's still in testing as well. This did work yesterday when I did this. So bear with me for 1 second. I'm going to put myself on mute and give David an option to share his screen if you need it. But you won't need that, will you? I just thought about that.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes,
we
we
can
can.
hear
Go
you.
ahead, David.
Yeah, you don't
I
need
can.
access to share the screen. That's right.
No, I can show you on my iPhone.
Okay.
So
Talk to Leah button.
I-
Voice
I'll
chat.
I'll do that. So one of the things you noticed with Jason's is it said something like, "Hi, how are you doing today?" And it sounded all cheery and, you know, happy. One of the things I like about Ally, as Jason said, is that you can customize the personality. I don't like my AI chatbots to pretend that
Tap to
they're
unmute.
human. So, one of the things I wanted it to do was
Tap to unmute.
is to be very
Tap to mute.
professional and to not try to sound playful and friendly. I didn't want it to sound mean and hostile, but so you'll notice when I open my version of Leah, it will just say, "How can I help you?" Because I told it to say that in the setup
Talk to Leah button.
preferences. So
Voice chat.
I'm on the app that says talk to, or the button that says talk to Leah, and we'll.
Button. Close text chat. How can I help you?
Hey Leah, can you hear me?
How can I help you?
Well, first tell me if you can hear what I'm saying.
I can process your requests and respond accordingly. Please let me know how I can assist you.
Okay, can you guys hear her?
Yeah,
Yes,
they can.
yes,
Yeah,
we can.
yeah.
Okay, So, Leah, I'm actually doing a live demonstration of you for a podcast or for a demonstration. So, first, would you say hello to everybody at the Florida Outreach Center for the Blind?
Hello, everyone at the Florida Outreach Center for the Blind. How can I assist you today?
Now, you see how she's very professional and serious. That's because I set it up to do that. One of the things I like is that you can just ask her to show you or explain to you what's in your camera frame. You don't have to find a button to, activate. So I'm going to put the camera in front of I have a microphone with a laptop behind it. And Leah, could you tell everybody at the Florida Outreach Center what you see in my camera right now, please?
Let me take a look. The image shows a workspace with a laptop on a desk. There's a microphone in front and a cabinet or shelf in the background.
Leah, what color is the microphone?
Let me take a look. The microphone is silver.
And Leah, I'm going to move the camera to the screen of my laptop, and I wonder if you could read that and tell me what you see.
Let me take a look. The screen displays the text James Pacious.
What? Okay, Leah, could you try again and take a look at the laptop screen and tell me what it says?
Let me take a look. The laptop screen displays the name James Pacious.
That's
Okay.
my name.
Okay, well, I would have thought that there would have been more. One of the ways that I use this is if you're in the unfortunate situation where your screen reader stops speaking and you have no speech on your laptop, you're blind, you have no sighted assistance, I could call Ira to get them to tell me what that is, but there's only a certain amount of minutes that I have available for that app. So with this app, I can just say what's on the screen, and usually it does a pretty good job at doing that. It is important to make sure there's lighting in the room because just like a sighted person, if it's totally dark, it can't see. So I do have my shade up right now. But it's also very good at identifying objects. So let's see. Leah, I have a package here in front of the camera. Could you tell me what you see, please? Okay, now she really is shy. Leah, did you go to sleep? Okay, she's done. She's done for the day. Anyway, that's a demonstration of Ally on the iPhone, and Jason, I'll kick it back to you.
David, I just have a question for you. Since I mentioned it earlier on the iPhone, since we're both iPhone users, do you know if people are able to test it through somewhere on Android in case people are interested?
I started looking up on the Ally website, which by the way is ally, ALLY.me. And I didn't get far enough to figure out whether they have an Android app available. I
Oh,
would kind of assume they would, but maybe if we have an Android user out there, I just haven't had time to research it yet. So I'm sorry.
oh, that's okay. I appreciate you jumping in to take part in that. I'm not quite sure why mine isn't working because
Can
I
I ask a question,
tested
Jay?
this out and it worked on my end, but that's why it's not available on prime time yet. So maybe they're obviously still working on some things.
It is still in
Yeah,
beta,
yeah.
and by the way, it's free right now, but Envision has made it clear that the intent long term is that it will not be free. There's going to be some sort of subscription because, you know, they've got to make money doing this. They're making it free right now while they are building it to get feedback from people. Eventually, and we don't know when that's going to be, it's not going to be free, but we don't know what the subscription cost is going to be. So yeah, it is still, it can be a little flaky at times. Usually it's been pretty reliable for me. This is the first time that it has not. It's possible that it's a server side issue and that there could be issues because you and I are both experiencing issues and it's not the internet connection. So there
Mhm.
could be stuff server side.
Yeah,
I have a
exactly.
question.
Okay, go ahead, Manus, and then we'll allow for other people to ask questions as well for Ally.
Sure. My question is, what is it that Ally can do that Call Annie cannot?
Um, Call Annie. So Annie's great for general conversation or maybe to look up stuff, but I think that the one thing that it cannot do is to look at your camera.
Okay.
So, you know, if you just want to chat, which I'm not into doing, by the way, but I'm not interested in chatting with a piece of software. But if you want to do that or to just get information about something with a chatbot with a personality, because that's Annie's thing, is that you can talk to people with different quirky personalities. Annie's good for that. But if you want to identify something like what's in this box or what's this piece of paper say, I don't
Mm-hmm.
think you can do that with Call Annie unless they've added that. Um, but you can do that with Ally, and you can also do that with other apps. The professional paid version of ChatGPT can now do that as well, and can get you real-time information about your camera. The one thing I would advise though is a bit of caution because this stuff is not just happening on your phone, it's being sent to the cloud. So I would not recommend that you use this to read sensitive information. For example, if I were activating a credit card, I would not use an app like this for that. It
Mm-hmm.
might be able to read it, but you don't know where that information is being stored, um, how it's being processed. So I wouldn't necessarily use it for sensitive medical data. So I would use a little bit of prudence when using apps like this.
Thank you.
Thanks, Manus. So since we are taking questions about Ally, and we apologize for not really working either with myself or for David, and I'm going to let David demonstrate his next thing here in a minute. That the main reason why I asked him to come on here, and I appreciate also helping out. Do we have any questions specifically about Ally and the little bit that you were able to hear? Do
I
I
do
mean
not see
raise
any
hands,
raised hand.
Manus? No raise hands. Okay, all right, all right. And what the hope is that when they do release this on iOS, and we would also think on Android as well, whether it's free in the beginning and they eventually charge, that it will respond properly. And it's been, you know what, for a piece of software, an app that's still in beta testing, even though this looks like it's a flaw right now, it has been working actually really well. Again, you always want to validate as best you can the information that's being relayed back to you to make sure that it is accurate information. So nothing is ever guaranteed. And just as a reference, just really quick, the Manus had mentioned an app called Call Annie. And that's an app that we're not going to demonstrate today because we've demonstrated on another AI workshop. It's been out for a long time. They do have a free version. They have a paid version, which gives you a lot more features and you can do all sorts of crazy things. But as it was mentioned, while it's a fun app and it's really cool and it's really interactive, it's also just for information and conversational type of pieces. So again, it's not to look at your camera, it's not to help you identify things like that. It's more for conversation and looking up information. So that's the reason why we're not concentrating on that, because we're really just talking about what's new with AI. And so that's the reason why we're not covering that app. So David, while we have you here, I know your time's limited. Are you ready to demonstrate the other thing that we talked about with Office?
I could. I didn't know you wanted me to demo it, but
Yeah, if you
I
could
can
demo
do
it.
that. I've got to
Uh,
send Manus a request to allow a screen share.
I can either I
Oh,
can do it or Manus can do it. Manus, can you know how to do that? You want me to do
I don't know how to do that yet. You haven't taught me how to do that yet, Jay.
that? Okay,
I just send
hold
a
on.
share request. If not, I can just
Hold
let
on.
people know what it is.
All right.
Okay.
All right. I think you do have access now. So you should have that. So what David is going to demonstrate, we're going to switch gears here, by the way, let you know. We're going to get away from smartphones and tablets and all that, and we're going to switch gears towards the computer. And since this is something that David is going to demonstrate, I'm going to let him introduce it briefly and allow him to demonstrate this piece for us.
Okay. Let me just share my screen. Let's see if I can.
I think I gave you access. All right.
Okay.
There we go.
You can hear my audio? Okay, did that audio come out?
I
Okay.
assume I'm hearing my jaws, but I don't know if that's my jaws or your jaws.
Okay, can you hear it saying Zoom Workplace?
No.
Oh, great. Okay. I may not be able to do this. Oh, I see. Okay, let me try it. If I can't do it, I'll just let people know what it is. Ah, I see.
You stopped screen share, by the way.
I know.
Started screen share, press F6 to switch between open Zoom windows. Start video Alt plus B button. Video settings.
Can you hear that?
Yeah, we
Yes.
can hear that.
Okay, let me slow the speech down.
Slower.
So what Jason is talking about is all the companies right now, all the tech companies are really getting on board the AI bandwagon. Apple and Microsoft. So Microsoft, their AI service is called Copilot, Copilot. And if you have a subscription to Office 365, you are now getting Copilot as part of your subscription. So what this means is that you can actually have AI tools right in apps like Outlook, Microsoft Word, Excel, and probably PowerPoint. I'm almost sure that it does have AI in PowerPoint. And unfortunately, this means that the subscription cost, if you keep your subscription, is going to go up. but you can downgrade if you don't want Copilot and to pay the original price that you paid for your Office subscription. I won't go into detail about how to do that because that's going to be getting into the weeds. But the bottom line is that if you have 365, you can now use Copilot on a limited basis for free. So when you open Microsoft Word, and I'll do that now.
Run dialog. Type in Word.
Okay, so I'm going to open Word.
Folder view. Microsoft Word document. Microsoft Word document. Folder view list view. Not select. Not selected.
Of course it didn't.
Screen sharing meeting. Document to Word.
There we go. It's not
Search.
focusing me on my window.
Document to Word. Print view. Edit.
Okay, now that's normally what you hear when you open Word, document 1 or document 2, and then it says print view. What you didn't hear, because JAWS didn't focus me in the window properly, it might not have actually been JAWS, could have been Windows itself, is it says press Alt-I to use Copilot. So I'm gonna write just a couple of sentences. I'm gonna write, my name is David and I'm having an awesome time doing this presentation. Cool beans. Now,
My name is David and I'm having an awesome time doing this presentation. Cool beans.
okay, that's fine, except it's not the most professional writing style that I could have employed. So I could manually change this, which is what we've always
David
done.
Chiefetz has left the meeting.
But I can also
Alerts to say
use Copilot to help me change this. So I'll press Alt-I. Now I'm going to select the text that I want to work with. So that's important too. You have to highlight the text that you want to work with. So I'm going to select this line by pressing, I'm going to move to the beginning of the line by pressing the Home key, and I'm going to press Shift-N.
selected. My name is David and I'm having an awesome time doing this presentation, period. Cool beans, period.
So I've selected the text. It's highlighted. And I'm going to press Alt-I now.
Group. Write a prompt ... 1 of 3.
Now, I have a Copilot menu. The first choice is write a prompt. What that means is if I press enter, I'll get an edit field where I can ask questions or get opinions about what I've highlighted. If I press down arrow,
Auto rewrite. 2 of 3.
there's
Rewrite
auto
with Copilot.
rewrite.
Visualize as a table. 3 of 3.
There's visualize as a table.
Write a prompt ... Auto rewrite.
Let's
2
go
of
to
3.
auto rewrite.
Leaving menus. Edit. Drafting rewrites ... Drafting rewrites ... Stop button. Escape. Rewrite ready. Rewrite with Copilot. My name is David, and I'm enjoying this presentation.
Okay, so it changed it to just say, my name is David and I'm enjoying this presentation. If I press the tab key,
Like button.
I can like it, which means I guess that gives Microsoft feedback that this is good.
Dislike button.
I can say that I dislike the suggestion.
Replace button.
I could also replace it, so I'm going to press the space bar.
Print view. Edit.
Now I'm back in my document, and let's see if Copilot took what it thought was not super professional and replace it with what it suggested.
My name is David, and I'm enjoying this presentation. Blank.
Okay, so Copilot got rid of cool beans because it didn't see the point in that, and I agree with it. Now, if I didn't like Copilot's suggestion, of course I can undo this, so I'm not stuck with what it did. I can
Selected. My name is David and
I can undo it.
My name is David and I'm having an awesome time doing this presentation. Cool beans.
And I'm back to the original document. So you could, now that was just a couple of sentences. So I could take an entire document and where it says enter a prompt, I could do the opposite. So let's say that I have a document that is very formal. Let's say I'm writing an email to my brother, and it's kind of formal and serious, and let's say I'm not in the best of moods right now. And I reread that and I say, Jason's not going to like that wording because it sounds a little too professional, and he's my brother. I should be a little more informal with him. So I could highlight that email and then ask Copilot, could you suggest a draft that is a little friendlier, a little less formal, a little less angry, or maybe the opposite? Maybe I'm sending a cover letter to someone, and maybe I think it's a little too unprofessional. So I could have Copilot draft something that is a little more polished and a little more professional. Um, when I use Copilot for this reason, I never just go with its suggestion. Um, I use it as a starting point. I look at the draft and then I tweak it a little more, and then I might go with it. So this is now a part of Office, and Apple has similar features which it calls Apple Intelligence. And if you have a newer iPhone, or if you have a newer Mac or a newer iPad, these features are built into Apple products, not just a specific app. Um, so that's a brief demonstration and explanation of Copilot that is now built into Microsoft 365. If you don't have a subscription, if you're just using Office 2016 or Office 2019, Copilot is not built in. You can use it for free on the Copilot website, but it's not built into Office. But if you have an Office subscription, Copilot is now built into Office, and so you can use it in Word or Outlook to help you draft and compose and edit a document if you want to do that. So there you go.
And it looks like Manus, it looks
Control
like we have
open
a
part.
few raised hands. Manus, are you there?
Oh, hi.
Yes, I was on mute. Sorry.
That's okay. I think we have some raised hands.
Yes, we do. We have Murphy.
Murthy
Murph?
Konda?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, hi. Thanks again, David, for this presentation. So, this the feature, the Copilot in Word is actually great. I use it kind of, regularly. Find it very, useful tool. My question is, David, like, I believe this can also be used with PowerPoint. Like, for example, if I have a presentation and I want to make sense out of, okay, Copilot, can you please tell me, or can you please summarize the slide 1 or slide 10? And likewise, the other use cases could be like, for example, I have content in my Word file and converting that into a PPT and vice versa. Can you please talk about that capability?
It probably can do that, but I can't comment on it because I haven't used it yet. Copilot itself is not new, and it's not new in Office if you pay for it, but it's new for Office subscribers just recently. They just added it literally a week ago. And so I have not really had time to use it extensively, and certainly have not had time to use it extensively with Excel and PowerPoint. So I'm not in a position to comment on it at this time.
Sure, David, no worries. Maybe in future, hopefully.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Murthy. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
your intervention. Thank you. Next, we have Sue.
Sue, go ahead. You can unmute. Sue, are you there? You can unmute. Sue, can
She's
you unmute?
unmuted.
All right, maybe we'll come back to Sue if we have time.
Yeah, she's
She's
unmuted,
having
but
some problems unmuting.
I think you have to, there's a dialogue that says that the presentation is being recorded, and you might have to press
Yeah.
the OK
If it,
button.
yeah, if anybody came in after we started, there was a message that came up that said this presentation is being reported, and you have to click on the either the OK button or the Got It button, whichever one you see that comes up that's available. It's the same thing. We'll try Sue one more time. If not, we'll move on and we'll come back to her. Sue?
she's using an iPhone, so maybe she needs to do *6 or something.
No, no iPhone. No, she has to hit the unmute button. I think visually it shows a picture of a microphone. So, all right, we'll come back to Sue if we have time. Do we have any more raised hands?
Not at this time.
Okay, David. I'm going to put you on the spot for a second because I want to switch gears because we're starting to run out of time, and unfortunately, I'm going to have to kind of cut a couple things short here. But one thing I do want to get to that's really, really important, one of the things that was on my agenda for today was the FS Companion. Are you able to demonstrate that, or would you like me to do that?
Either one, I can do it, or you can
Okay,
do it, whatever you
all right.
prefer.
So we're going to go ahead and stay with the computer, and I'm going to let David introduce a function. This is just for, and I don't like to exclude anybody, but any of our JAWS users out there who's using JAWS on a Windows laptop or desktop or whatnot. And this is a function. So if you're not a JAWS user or not a screen reader user, I do apologize. But for our JAWS users, this is a really cool function. So David, take it away.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know you were going to ask me to do that, but I've got JAWS up and running. So, as Jason said, this is a feature built into JAWS that they call the FS Companion. The purpose of this is, and this is a really great tool, you can ask questions either about JAWS or even about Windows or Windows applications, and it will answer it. Now, what I wish that they would do is to allow you to communicate by voice, but you have to type in your response. So let me make sure that this is...
Type your question here, edit.
Okay, did you guys hear that? It said type your question here.
Yes.
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 Okay, so the way I got to this, in case there are probably JAWS users out there that are saying, wait, how do you do this? First of all, you have to have JAWS 2025. So if you have an earlier version of JAWS, this isn't going to work, although there is a website actually that you can go to get to this. But from within JAWS, if you press insert space, which is the layered keystroke, followed by F1, it puts me in an edit field.
Type your question here, edit.
And it says type your question here, and it lets me know that I'm in an edit field. So I can ask a question about JAWS or Windows. I'm going to write, how do I center text in Microsoft Word? So I want to know how to center text in Microsoft Word. I'm going to press
How
enter.
do I center?
And it's looking it up.
To center text in Microsoft Word using JAWS, you can use the following keystroke, bullet press Ctrl+E to center the selected text or the text you are about to enter. To confirm that the text is centered, you can use the Save Font command by pressing Insert+F. This will announce the current formatting, including alignment.
Okay, and that is correct. Now, let's say that I missed it. I should be able to review this. So let's...
Virtual PC cursor. Edit.
And send.
Send message FS Companion Beta blank. Heading level 1 conversation with FS Companion Beta.
There we
Switch
go.
to dark new conversation blank. Hello there. I'm excited to help you
Okay,
learn more.
that's the beginning of the...
Heading level 2 How do I center text blank. To center text in micro
And now I'm actually in the text that I can review.
blank. To center text in Microsoft Word using JAWS, you can use the following keystroke. Blank. List of 1 items. Bullet press Ctrl plus E to center the selected text or the text you are about to enter.
It said press Ctrl E to center the text, the selected text or the text you're about to enter. In Microsoft Word, that is true. So I can review this text word by word or line by line because it's basically a web page. It also means I can copy this text if I want to save it. So I can highlight the text, copy it, and then paste it in a Word document or any other document that I want. So that is, they call it the FS Companion, FS standing for Freedom Scientific.
Aaron, thank you so much. And this is a really, really cool feature. And I
Screen
just
sharing.
used this the other day. I know myself, we have some raised hands. We'll get to them in a second. Thank you, David, for doing that. I was using this the other day. I am really trying to get a handle on the new Outlook that's part of Windows 11. And I'm used to, I have Outlook, of course, on my 365 subscription and whatnot, but the new Outlook that they put in that's free for everybody is a little bit of a different animal, more or less. And I was trying to help someone figure it out. So I went on the FS Companion and I was asking them how you handle file. I was asking it how to handle file attachments because I just could not figure it out offhand. So, and it gave me a great detailed description along with step-by-step instructions. They were all JAWS key or a Windows key navigation. So it can handle how do you do a command in JAWS? How do you handle a certain function within Word, Excel, Office, PowerPoint, any application like that. So it's not just limited to JAWS questions. And as you learn, it's also not just related. So he asked how you did something in Word, but it used JAWS commands to get to that answer. So I apologize for our non-JAWS users out there about that. I also use NVDA. I would love to see NVDA put something like this out there. And they probably possibly will in the future, but that's just my little story with FS Companion. I got
Yep.
really excited when I saw this at the ACB National Convention at the JAWS demonstration room, and I couldn't wait for this to come out live. So let's get to our raised hands. I believe we have a few minutes, correct?
Oh,
Yes, we
Jason,
do. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to say that for people who don't have JAWS 2025 or who may just want to play with this, you can get to it from the web. So the website is, I just wanted to verify it before I mentioned this, it's FS Companion, all one word, .ai. So it's not .com, it's fscompanion.ai. And really anybody can use it. But if you have JAWS 2025, you can get to it right from JAWS by pressing insert space followed by the F1 key. Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to, for the sake of completeness, I just wanted to mention that.
No, that's great. I'm really glad. I actually didn't know myself that you can go to a website. So that's actually available to anybody, whether you have JAWS or not. Go to their website and type in your question and get your direct answers. And that's also great because, prior to all that, I would have to go on Google or one of these search engines and type in what I'm looking for and go through all these results. And I don't have to do that anymore. It does all the work for you and gives you a clear, concise, nice list of commands and options. So okay, so we do have some raised hands. Let's get to our raised hands.
Yes,
May I see
sir.
who we have first?
First, we have Dr. Harland.
Okay. You can go ahead and unmute.
Van?
Can you unmute? Dr. Holland, you said?
Yes. I click on
Dr.
ask to
Holland, could you
unmute.
please unmute, please?
Okay, we'll come back to him.
Okay,
Uh,
welcome back. All right.
Dan Day.
Hey.
Yeah, hi everybody. This is a very great, good presentation, really good information. I just wanted to ask David real quick. I think when you got the FS Companion to come back with its response, I don't know that you said what the keystrokes were to get back and have it reread it. You said you could get back and have it read it again or store it. What were the keystrokes you used to do that?
Yeah. So what I had to do, I was sort of stuck in the edit box because of the way I have my version of JAWS set up. So I think I just hit the tab key and that got me out of the edit box. And then from there, it's basically a web page. So you should just be able to use arrow keys to read that. They also have it set up by headings. So when you press H, it will eventually get to the conversation that you're having with it, including what you asked it, followed by its response below that. So it's really no different from reading a web page because for all intents and purposes, that's what it is.
Okay, great. Thanks for that clarification.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you so much, Dan. All right. Any other raised hands, Manus?
Let's go back to Van, Dr. Holland.
Okay,
Yes,
Dr.
can you hear
Holland?
me?
Yes.
Oh, there you are.
All
Okay. Thank you so much for hosting this workshop. I'm learning so much. But my question is, you mentioned earlier about taking photos. I want to know, is there something on the iPhone or an app that can interpret my photos that's already in my photo gallery? I want to organize my photos and I can't make out what they are sometimes. So is there some way to do that as well?
Yeah, there are a couple of different options. That's actually a really good question. If you have any of these apps like Be My Eyes or Ira, you can use Ira Access for free. You can run through and take, now I didn't demonstrate that, but you can actually demonstrate, you can go through your existing photos and use, if you're an iPhone user, pull up a photo and go under share and share it with any of these apps and you'll get the same description. Now, I was just taking an actual photo versus using any of the photos that were stored on my phone. There is a new feature, David, if you're still there. Do you want to talk about the Explorer feature, if that's what she's inquiring about?
So, yeah, you can. Well, first of all, Jason's right. You should be able to share a photo through what iOS calls the share sheet and put it through any of these apps. But you can also in these apps like Ira, there's an option to go through your photos and have it describe them. So yes, you can do that. I'm not sure, Jason, what Explorer app you're referring to, unless it's something that hasn't hit my
Where
radar.
you can go through a photo and do a swipe down or double.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, got it. There is a way you get to it, I believe, Doctor, through the rotor, and it's called, I think it's built into iOS, it's called Image Explorer.
That's it. Yeah.
So when you're in a photo, you use your rotor, and I don't remember off the top of my head what it is. I'd have to do a little bit of prep and research, but I think you would find it. There's an option for exploring the image, and essentially let's say it's a picture of you and you're, I don't know, outside at a picnic and there's a picnic bench and there's some food on the table. You can actually, through the Image Explorer, move your finger around the screen and it will attempt to describe the different parts of the photo. Um, that's a little different, though, than the AI apps where it will give you a more detailed description like Seeing AI or Ira. So you really have both options, and they both have their value, and they both have their pros and cons. So, yes, all of that is built into the iPhone. Um, well, the AI apps are not built into the iPhone, but many of them are free. So you can do all of that through the iPhone. But what Jason's talking about is, I think, called Image Explorer.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Thank you, Dr. Hom. Yes.
I think there's a feature if you have Be My Eyes that says describe with Be My Eyes. If you keep flicking, keep going down,
Yep.
there is an option that says describe with Be My Eyes.
Yeah, I know that's in the share sheet along
Yeah.
with describe with Be My Eyes or, share with Seeing AI
Mhm.
or whatever apps you've got on your iPhone. So because a lot of these apps are free, it's really worth downloading them. It's not going to cost you anything. I know Ally will eventually offer, have subscriptions, but right now even that's free. So I would say as long as you're comfortable with AI, knowing that this information does get sent to the cloud, if you're comfortable with that, and there's people who are not, but as long as you are, I think it's worth downloading as many of these apps as you can. It's good to have as many tools in the toolbox, as they say. And, even if you don't use them all the time, never hurts to have them, doesn't cost you anything.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you,
All
David.
right. Do we have any more hands, Manus?
Not at this time.
Okay. And, because of time and whatnot, we're gonna have to cut a few things short here. So some of the other things I was gonna talk about, although they're not really new, just some people may not be aware of course, we were mentioned Copilot and ChatGPT, where you can type in information. They also have voice features as well, both on your computer. If you go to their website, open up a browser, or they do have apps that are available on both iOS and Android for phones and tablets. So if you're not into typing and dictating and you just want to have more of an interactive type of conversation, ChatGPT, Copilot, those are definitely available, but those are more for asking for information, or trying to learn about new resources, new thoughts, new ideas. And that stuff has been out for quite a while. They just continue to improve on that. We just really wanted to kind of cover at least a glimpse of just what's new and what's emerging right now today. And we could have the same workshop again 6 months from now, a year from now, and there will still be new stuff. Or the items that we just discussed today, the apps between the websites and the phone apps and whatnot, they'll be improved. So probably by then, Ally will be live. It will definitely work. In fact, while David was demonstrating, I didn't give up on my Ally. I restarted it, closed it, and went back in, and it started to work and then fizzled out on me again. So, like he said, it was probably a server issue, because during all my playing around with it prior and the testing prior, it worked beautifully. We just can't help when things just don't work. So that's just the way they go. And everybody who uses technology completely understands that type of ramification. So anyway, um, do we have, first of all, I want to thank David for demonstrating and talking about these features of AI and what's available. I know I put him on the spot a little bit more than what I planned, but as my brother, that's my privilege, and I get to use and abuse him. And well, I won't say anymore. I'll get myself in trouble.
I'll send you the bill.
But he's a good sport. He's a good sport about it. So I appreciate that. I really do. And I also wanted to thank Manus for helping out today with the board as well and helping moderate as well. Do we have any more last minute questions or comments or experiences before we talk about our website and our mailing list and we conclude the workshop for today?
Yes, we do. Okay. Mr. Konda?
Yes. Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, thanks again, Jason and David. This is really great. Mine is actually more like a request, if you will. So, I mean, obviously, when it comes down to AI, there is a lot that blind community can leverage, especially, in the coming months and years, as you also briefly mentioned. So, I mean, I really hope you will be able to do this kind of sort of training or presentation time to time. So, just wanted to put it out there.
Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate that. It really means a lot. And I want to throw something out there, and this is something that, and we're going to give out our contact information in a minute. And I really want you guys to do something with this contact information. I want you guys to send us thoughts or ideas on topics that you would like to possibly see for our future workshops. We try to come up with different topics. I know that we seem to do workshops through mostly through the year, and they seem to be the majority of technology, but we want to try and have some non-technology workshops as well to appeal to different types of crowds. And of course, everybody is welcome. We would love to have you all join us every month. But if you have any ideas, we're going to give out our contact information. And if you have a thought idea, and if you have a resource that we can contact for a workshop, that would be even better because I love running these workshops, but I have difficulty sometimes coming up with topics and ideas because remember these workshops are not about me and Manus and everybody else here at the Florida Outreach Center. They're for you guys, and we want to have stuff that appeals to you all. So if you have any information, resources, thoughts, and ideas or contacts, please share them with me. We'd greatly appreciate it.
We have a
But
question.
yes, we have
Dan,
questions. Okay.
Dan, go ahead.
Dan, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Just a quick mention, there's an app that I use sometimes called the OCO Copilot or OCO Navigation, which comes in really handy for safely getting across crosswalks. I just wanted to mention, if you didn't know, that was free, but has now changed to subscription. And I don't know whether there are any other apps out there right now that help you get safely across, tell you when the light changes at a crosswalk. But just wanted to mention that's now gone subscription, so you can't use it. I got caught going to an intersection, pulling it up and trying to use it, and I couldn't get past the screen that made me subscribe, and I didn't want to subscribe right in that moment just to get across the road at that point. So I just wanted to give people a heads up on that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dan. And I've had the OCO app on my phone for quite a while. And I am going to say something that's going to be very shocking. I have never used it. So I always knew it to be free. I didn't know it was a paid app or subscription now. So thanks for sharing that information. I'm sorry they went to a subscription that, depending on how good it is and how, reliable it is, that may not be good because a lot of people that, can use that as a valuable tool especially in safety and crossing streets, because a lot of cities, trust me, drivers are crazy and they're not watching out for us. We got to watch out for them.
Yeah, and just so you know, now that you say that, there is I don't know how many folks are familiar with the change.org website, but that's a place where you sign petitions to basically to send petitions to organizations to do change. And there's a petition at change.org to ask OCO to make the crosswalk part of it. It does a lot more. I guess it does navigation and maps as well as crosswalk, but they want to make the OCO app free for blind people. So if anybody's interested in doing that sort of thing, I already passed this on to the ACB and the NFB as advocates, so maybe they want to lean on OCO to maybe put that back free again, but we'll see about
This is
that.
David.
Well, thank you, David.
I sympathize with your with that, and everybody has the right, of course, to try to send out petitions for things like this. But I will say that, because they're a small company, in order to be sustainable, and by the way, I don't work for them or with them, I'm not involved with them, and I've also not used the app. But, I understand why, especially a lot of small companies do subscriptions, because it's a way for them to remain sustainable. And I think the problem was that if they don't do it, and they just, if you give it away, it makes it more available to people, but it also doesn't give them enough income to continue the service and improve it and keep it going. And so it's kind of a vicious cycle that if they did give it away, it's possible that the app would disappear. And at least by offering a subscription, it could prove sustainable enough that at least the app could be with us long term. I'd rather see them charge money and know that the service is going to be around, rather than knowing that it possibly disappeared because nobody wanted to pay for it. That's my perspective on it. Not everybody might agree with it, and it may sound harsh, but it's just something to think about.
No, that's very well said, David, and I agree with you 100%. We'd all love to have everything free, but the world doesn't work that way. So you're spot on. You're spot on.
Yeah, and also just to advise people, if you're going to use an app like that, to not solely rely on it. I think it's a great idea. It's a great service. Make sure you use your hearing and your instinct and your intuition, because that app could tell you that it's safe and a car could come right out in front of you. So, common sense, hearing, and intuition, instinct should be used along with a service like that.
Yeah, and as you probably know already, Be My Eyes, you cannot call them to cross the crosswalk, and I think it's probably smart because of liability. If someone told you to cross and you got hit, well, you might sue them for that.
Yeah.
So and I kind of have to applaud OCO for being brave enough to do that, because they could be liable. If somebody goes out and gets hit, them somebody might sue the app developers, and they're probably small without deep pockets. So
Well, I would hope that they have a disclaimer in their terms of service saying that this is not something that should be used as a substitute for other senses, in the same way that Aira and Be My Eyes are not mobility tools. They're aids, but you can't use them without using a cane, let's say. And Aira used to also not allow agents to help with street crossings. Now they, I think, will stay on the call if you cross, but they won't. I think they're not supposed to talk to you, or at least if they do, they keep it to a minimum.
yeah, all great points.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dan. I really appreciate it. Thank you, David. All right. Master, do we have any other raise hands?
No, sir.
Okay, I know we're a little over time. We apologize, guys. Just briefly, I would like for Manus to talk about our website, if we could, please.
We invite everybody to please visit our website, blindfocb.org, blindfocb.org. You can learn more about our center, the services we provide. You can also call us on the phone, 561-642-0005. So please do visit our website, give us a call, and if you are in the South Florida area, pay us a visit. We would love to meet you and chat with you.
Definitely visit our website. It has all of our contact information. As mentioned, our phone number has our address, has our email address as well, which is info_FOCB@bellsouth.net. And also that is where you can find information on our mailing list that was put out. That was question was asked in the beginning of our presentation today. You can go there, find the information about our mailing list, which is Florida Outreach Center. We're on groups.io. So if you go to groups.io, you can type in Florida Outreach Center for the Blind. You can find us there as well. And like I mentioned, our website as well. So we'd love to have you join our mailing list. You can learn about the other Zoom activities that we have as well that are available to anybody, including our Talking Book Club discussion, which takes place on the last Wednesday of every month at 3:00 p.m. Eastern Time. It's pretty small right now, so we keep it informal. And that is with the same Zoom information that you're using today. So we like to try and keep that consistent. So we're going to go ahead and conclude. Again, I wanted to thank everybody. I want to thank Manus. I want to thank David. I want to thank you all for coming
Jason,
out. Yes.
I have Kim. Kim, go ahead.
Oh, we
Hi,
have a
just real,
raised hand. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
that's okay.
Yeah.
Just real
Okay,
quick,
go ahead, Kim.
can you just slowly repeat the website and telephone number, please?
Oh, sure. Manus, do you want to repeat that? If you can say a little
Sure.
slower.
The website is blind, FOCB, BLIND, FOCB.org. And the phone number is 561-642-0005.
Thank you very much. Great presentation again.
Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate it. And thank you for coming out. And as I mentioned, I want to thank everybody for coming out today and joining us. Please send us your ideas and thoughts. And if you have contact information for future workshops, we would love to have your idea presented here. So we're going to go ahead and end. I'm going to stop the recording. And thank you so much to everybody. And we will talk to you all again next month. Take care, everybody.